guys that like go their whole life without a fight, they talk about like, oh, I would fuck that guy up, or like because they run the simulation in their head so many times,
and they win. They always win.
They win. They win it and like the problem was the dinosaurs were too big for the shit, bro.
I know, but it's just kind of Neuralink. I'm gonna upload Roger Gracie's.
What's that download cost?
Right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna cast this thing out.
Spiritual warfare is a thing, bro.
Wave Function Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Anderson. We got Eric Arnsberger with us today.
What up? Part 2.
Yeah, man. Part two. Yeah, you got. Well, we still got the short up. Go to my page. I got his short up of the whole gun incident. It's definitely it got some traction.
It was but I mean, it was funny because it's like, and that's kind of like I want to talk about too because like I'm starting my business. Pulled the trigger on that. So it's in a couple of months we're gonna be opening up a training facility right outside Nashville.
Okay.
And it's pretty much just getting people to feel comfortable with violence. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole thing of it. Like think about it.
Normalize violence.
Not normalize violence.
Bro, I'm just I'm gonna take everything you say and I'm gonna just twist it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. We'll see how that goes.
And then we're gonna get physical. I'm gonna like, bro, like you looking scrawny over there, dude. I'm literally gonna I'm gonna just power bomb you on this couch.
It's the intermittent fasting that I've been doing. No. So it's just like honestly. So and here's the basis of it. Everybody it's just like Mike Tyson said it. Perfect. Shout out to Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. You don't know how your body's going to react.
A self-defense school for like
kind of, sort of, but it's like I mean,
for so like the average people.
I wouldn't say it's whoever wants to. Like you can come. A person that has a skill set of myself can still get something out of this program that we're doing because it's all based off science. So in the military, I was part of a program just to see if I could pass it or not. Of just a support personnel that was getting attached to special operations. Yeah. So what they had to do is you had to make the cut. Obviously, you had to have the skill set to get there. So it was like we want to see if we can take pretty much an above average person, physical, like assets wise, and then I want to be able to mold them into whatever I want them to be with the correct supervision and practice and all that stuff. So like the whole basis of it is like, I don't know, this sounds very superficial, but it's like, okay, cool. What do you think the difference is in gunfighting between you and a Navy SEAL? A lot of practice, a lot of perfect repetitions, and a certain ability to just fight through whatever. Like that's their whole mindset. That's what Goggins preaches. It's what Jocko preaches, all this other kind of stuff. So it's just like, but at the end of the day, if you can take two people with the same mindset and then you take one and you develop a curriculum and you give them everything that they need to be successful, and then you just have another person over here without the leadership and guidance and tell them to do the exact same thing, which one do you think is going to be more successful? The one that has the guidance, the one that has the structure, and also the kind of stuff?
Wrong. All right, the one who's most trained is the guy that's really been putting in the work in GTA 5, putting in the hours.
No, so here was our thing. Like, so getting back to it, so with me, they took me, and I was a part of a program. It was a 3-month like combat school. So what they did, it had everything to do with live fire.
That's it.
Yeah, live. Exactly. That's it. So it was just a test to see if we could pass like the test. So what it was is we had 3 control groups. We had one control group, which is shot just strictly on the simulator. Yeah. The other one that was 50-50, 50% on the simulator, 50% live fire. And then the third control group was all 100% live fire training.
Was the simulator GTA 5 or is it like...
It was actually...
It was like VR?
No. It was just pretty much just...
Putting on like
courses,
helmets and shit?
No. So it was just literally, we just had guns and we were just shooting at a screen. But it was like unlimited ammo. Right. Because
What's that? You get the kickback?
Yeah. So it was just air.
For real?
It was just compressed air. So instead of shooting rounds, it was just like the recoil management was being done by compressed air.
Oh, dude, I would just be lighten that thing up.
Yeah, but so think about it. If you were to like wrestling background. No, I know. Like your wrestling background. So if you were to have a fully functioned like dummy that was like, okay, 30% resistance, 50% resistance, like muscular wise, like allowing you to do certain things, you would get so much better if you were practicing with that while you weren't at wrestling practice to go over just certain moves, right?
Yeah, my wrestling simulator robot.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's what
Elon,
we're offering.
make it happen.
So,
yo, these high school wrestlers, that's what they need,
bro. They need like. The thing is, and it's crazy because nowadays,
I feel like a robot whooped my ass.
Bro, they make those AI like pressure robots for jujitsu.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and so it just like shows like, hey,
I mean,
if your grips aren't tight enough or stuff like that.
After we get our brains chipped, we're literally just gonna like, you know how like Neo in the Matrix goes through like training?
Yeah. Dude.
I'm honestly like, it's a joke, but I'm saying like 40 years from now, like, yeah, we'll be doing
Neuralink. Imagine if they uploaded like, okay, cool, you got Roger Gracie.
Yeah. Ooh.
His skill set. Now I'm gonna upload Roger Gracie's.
What's that download cost?
Right?
That's like a $40,000 download, maybe more.
Imagine Roger Gracie. Boop. Carlos Hathcock.
Yo,
greatest sniper to ever walk the planet.
Yeah.
Boop. Like just their mentality, the way that they think, their processing speeds, all that other kind of stuff.
I'm saving up for the Bruce Lee download, bro.
Bro,
be like,
imagine.
Everything is like water.
But like that not just, but like the skill set.
Yeah.
If you were to become a professional, you wanted to become a professional boxer. You had, whatever asset. Who would you want to have as your coach? Floyd Mayweather, right? Best in the game.
Probably. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Who would you pick over Floyd Mayweather?
Cuss. Tyson's coach.
Okay. I mean, but arguably, like skill set wise.
Yeah, bro.
No, 100%.
Floyd would chew me up, dude. Floyd would be like, "Yo, you a bitch."
No, but I'm saying like skill set wise, yes, okay, cause Muhammad Ali, any of these guys,
I need
but
like
it's just
inspiration, dude. I need
professionalism, like that's the top tier, right?
Yeah,
you got cuz like all these greats, right? So it's like, okay, you want to become a golfer, you want to get better at golf. Who would you rather take?
Bryson DeChambeau, dude.
Exactly, compared to.
That's like a $5 million download right there.
Yeah, but like you have the ability to do that, so it's like, but the rest is up to you. If you want to get good. Right? Who's stopping you from getting good? It doesn't matter what coach you have.
Nothing is of my own accord, and I blame everyone for everything. So it's like, I'm a product of my reality, man. Like, if you know?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, actually totally flipping. I mean, that's literally the point of this podcast, Wave Function Podcast, all possibilities.
Yeah.
It's your point. It's like, yeah, like you could do it.
You literally have the availability to do it. The only thing stopping you is you. So it's like, I'm going to take Tiger Woods. And he's going to come up with a curriculum that's going to literally take you from zero to hero.
To hero?
Zero to hero. Who's like
hero, baby?
What is stopping you from completing that zero to hero journey?
Yourself, man.
You are. Yeah. Exactly. So it's like for the school, we're taking you. So it's like what a lot of our specialty is, like we're getting you comfortable with violence. So a lot of people think they're going to do all this other kind of stuff when it comes to rising to the occasion, but you're not. You're not going to rise to the occasion unless you already have a skill set.
Totally, dude. It's like that fight or flight.
Exactly. So it's just like if you've never been
or freeze. It's the third F.
If you've never been in a situation to where you've been in a legitimate life-threatening environment, you're not going to know what to do. You're going to fall to your lowest level of practiced scenario-based reactions, right? So if you've never been like I will never forget the first time I got into a fight. I was like 11, bro, in this neighborhood bully.
That's it.
I wasn't for fighting in Uzbekistan.
My first fight, I was 3 years old.
It was my first fight was with my twin in the womb, and I won clearly.
Yeah, you absorbed their power.
Yeah, but like you have this preconceived notion that this life-altering moment is about to happen, and then it happens, and you're like, oh.
You know, one thing I've noticed on that topic. So, like, I had a rough childhood, and I've probably been in more fights than I would say like I'm like probably
the average bear,
top 5% for number of fights. I mean, I went cold turkey junior year of high school, but up until that point, I'd been so many fights. And what I've noticed is that guys that like go their whole life without a fight, they talk about like, oh, I would fuck that guy up, or like, you know what I mean? Like that guy doesn't want to tie up with me, or like because they run the simulation in their head so many times.
And they win. They always win.
They win. They win in every. And like, you know what I mean, bro. Dude? And I, I've taken Muay Thai for some times, and it's like the guys that you just don't expect to be like total badasses, and like you're just like sparring with them, like maybe going like 60%, and then you get to a point where like, is this dude like reading my mind? Am I telecasting? And like you're just like, oh, they're just skilled.
Yeah.
This guy's been doing Muay Thai for 5 years. He doesn't look like a threat at all, but like anyone picks
fucking chop that tree down real fucking quick, boy.
Yeah.
Snap that fucking tip right in half. Take you a little fucking calf kick. Whop. Done.
There's total disillusion with men, I think, in fighting. Like, and it's like, don't go into a fight think you're going to lose, but you also understand like, when you get to that point where you're losing, and like I've been there with my older brother a million times growing up, it's like you go to like full blown defense, almost like you curl up. But that's and shit.
See, the thing is like if you know what you're doing, like you know what I'm saying, like you're not gonna go there, because that's the part that I meant by being comfortable with violence. So it's like with me, I boxed for a long time, military, college, all this other kind of stuff. So it was like. But because of all the brain injuries and stuff that I've had, like my wife won't allow me to have the possibility of getting another concussion, which is 100% respectable.
Yeah.
So, but I miss the fact that's like, I still want to know what it feels like to get my ass kicked. Because if the way the world is, like, and if, I mean, I'm a man, if you threaten me or my family, I'm going to stand up for it. You know what I mean? I don't care if there's 10 of you or one of you. Like, I'm going down. It's going down. It's going to be a party. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, whether if I lose or win, but like, I'm taking some of you out with me.
We popping bottles.
Yeah. Dude. So it's just kind of like, I want to be able to, in all reality, I want to know what that feels like so I can control that. So I don't give up. So I don't close my eyes when I'm getting my ass kicked, so I can keep my eyes open, even though I know what these fucking punches and what going out feels like. I want to be able to know, so when I can just keep my fucking brain working to the point to where I see a window of opportunity, and now I can control my adrenaline to give the boosts that I need to fight out, to be explosive, to do all that kind of stuff. And that's what jiu-jitsu does, bro. Yeah. So it's like, that's why a lot of my friends convinced me to do jiu-jitsu, because it was like, yeah, I'm a scrub, but I'm still big and athletic. But a guy that is, I'm 240, a guy that's 180, skill set, can do whatever he wants with me. You know what I mean? Because I'm uneducated. Like my buddy, he's kind of like my older brother. He's like he fights at like 175, black belt, world champ, multiple divisions. He toys with me, bro, and I'm 60 pounds heavier than him.
I want to tell you a story. So I had pretty much won, outside of my brother, I won pretty much every fight until probably like junior year of high school. And this might kind of apply to your story a little bit. And I was at a concert, heavy metal concert, like back in the day, we had thrash pits, right? And this,
I remember those.
Bro, this story is kind of embarrassing, but like this dude that was thrashing around, and he like did this back fist, punched me right in the face. Ugh. And like, yo, the thing was like, you push him back into I was on the edge of the pits. Just you don't want to be on the edge of the pit. So then when he did it a second time, like for real, like the second time, I swear it was intentional.
That's with like the flailing stuff.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like the 360, the crazy shit. So anyways, the second time he hit me, I was like, all right, something's up with this. I put him in a rear naked choke. I put this guy, dude, I put him in a rear naked choke. Like I'm a teenager, right? Like this ain't me. But anyways, he's like, that's all these guys around me saw. They didn't see this guy punch. I got punched in the face twice, dude. You get punched in the face once and you rub it off. You're like, all right, go back to the pit. But like, he like came back at me like, oh, you're going to push me in the pit?
Yeah, caught you again.
I'm like, now I'm going to have to whoop this guy's ass. So then fucking 10 people just proceed to whoop the shit out of me.
Jeez.
On a level that like I've never, it changed how I view I'm so like I've diffused countless fights since then.
Same.
But like I was on the ground getting my face stomped in, and it gave me PTSD for about 2 months. So like the weird thing that I noticed with PTSD is like, especially the week of, when someone went to touch me, I would like, there was no conscious decision to flinch, and I couldn't even like hug somebody for like a while, and like I did get to that place to where you're kind of going, where it's like I just fully gave up. I mean, but dude, it was like 10 people, and
see, that's the thing. You've never been in that situation before. So your body didn't know what to do. So it's like the thing is with ours, we kind of replicate that, but in a controlled environment. Oh, you're carrying a gun now because you want to protect yourself, and you're a woman. So what are your biggest fears? Walking with my kids and being robbed because I have nice things or a nice purse. They see me and they want to come up and take my money, or they see me as a threat, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool. Now let's simulate that. What would you do? So at first, what we do is we just say, okay, cool. We're going to have somebody come mess with you. Now, I want you to understand.
Give him the purse.
That, no. It's
a Birkin bag, dude. Shut the fuck up.
There's the concept of you think you know what you're going to do. There's multiple ways to do this, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to simulate a real life scenario of someone coming to rob you. Now, I want you to do what you think you're going to do. And then they do it. They either think they're going to do something, but either way, at the end of the day, it goes to shit, right? And so we go back and we give you an after action report. And we're like, okay, cool. Hey, this is why, because of science, your brain did this because it's never been put in that situation before. So it's going to do one of three things. You're going to fight, flight, or freeze, right? Yeah. So you froze. Why do you freeze? Because you're trying to understand what's going on and evaluate something, but at the same time, you're just kind of like, I've never been in this situation, so I don't know what to do other than just stop, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to start leading up to this by doing scenario-based training and put you in an environment to where now a big person is going to come up and do this to you. Now I want you to practice doing some things with these, instructions or this game plan or this curriculum, right? Kind of cater a curriculum to them and then have them practice that every time they come in. So, hey, we're going to simulate someone breaking into your house at night, right? What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to fucking shoot him in the doorway. Really? You could go to jail, right? What if there's just your drunk neighbor thinking he's breaking into his house? Yeah. Right? Then you're going to jail because you just killed an unarmed.
I'm pretty sure that's happened.
Innocent. Oh, no, it has. There's tons of case law out there for it. So it's like, but people don't realize that because they're so quick to make a decision because they've never been in that situation before. So now we are going to replicate shitty situations and put people in them and give them options on what to do. Hey, you can take the red pill or the blue pill. Either one. Let's work it out. Take the red pill. This situation happens. Take the blue pill. This situation happens. Let's work them both out. So now you can never say you've never been in that situation before because now what we're doing is we're kind of putting those little seeds in your brain. So now when something like this happens, you recognize it faster. Oh, I might be getting robbed right now. Like, why do I have 3 people flanking me? One dude's asking me for cigarettes and his 2 random buddies.
Yo, can I get $1?
You know what I'm saying? And now why do I have these 2 guys walking in from me? Like if you've never been in that situation before, you're not paying attention to your periphery, right? So now we're telling you about all this stuff. So now you're like, oh shit.
So where do people check this out, or just to shout out?
So we're signing on the building this week.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I haven't really been telling anybody about it because it's like
No, it sounds dope, dude. You know what I could use though is interdimensional events. I got to tell you a story. Okay, like the night before Halloween. All right, I just got back from the festival, and I'm laying in bed, and I feel like I'm like awake, and I'm like my head's under the covers, so I'm like literally. I'm saying to myself, I'm like, why is my head under the covers?
Yeah.
So then,
Like literally? Like you were like...
No, like I remember being conscious under the covers, but here's the reality. Like it wasn't, I don't think it was actually my physical body, but my astral body. I think because it turns out like...
You're like projecting yourself?
I was in sleep paralysis and I didn't know it. And I would literally, my astral body had left my physical body. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, why is my head under the covers, right? And out of nowhere, dude, I went to throw a left hook. And dude, even self-reflecting on it now, I'm like, why did I do it? I'm like, oh, I know why. Like, I don't remember seeing anything, but like somehow my astral body knew something was there. Because right after I threw this left hook, like I felt like all the covers on me like shifting, and I could hear it. And this fucking Ashton, like, or this, what are they called in the community? This a sleep paralysis demon jumped, dude. It gripped me by the shoulders and it pinned me to the bed. And I'm literally like, all right, well, I'm gonna cast this thing out.
Spiritual warfare is a thing, bro.
Yo, so I was like, I'm gonna cast this thing out, right? So then I go to use my mouth, and I'm like, oh, I can't use my mouth. Like I have to use my thoughts. So like I know exactly what's going on because like my homie Tom was sitting right there. Same exact story. He said like this thing gripped him. I didn't want to open my eyes to look at it. I was like, whatever. And like I'm laying there, totally overcoming for fear for like maybe 5 seconds. And then like I come to it, I'm like, all right, I haven't like a freaking demon holding me down in my bed right now. I'm probably astral projecting. And then I like thought my thoughts. I like called out to Jesus and I called out to Archangel Michael. Like, dude, And within seconds I got back in my body, back in my body, like moved around. And I was like, man, like, what is going on? So my homie, who's like really like deep in astral projection, like he's done it a million times. He's like, dude, like it's that time of year. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like,
you just were at a Halloween festival, bro.
I was at a Halloween festival. Who knows what I brought back? I was at Halloween, Sewanee, yo, shout out. It was an awesome time.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, he's like, listen, November 1st is the Day of the Dead and Halloween is on the 31st because that's when the veil is thinnest. And he's like, that's like that realm and this realm, like it just kind of like aligns a little bit more around this time of the year. And I was like, dude, like I literally like next day I burnt copal in my space. Then my girlfriend slept over, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. She didn't actually, it never got to like touching her, but it was like a little boy with a black mouth. She was like screaming my name. I didn't hear anything, but it was like all in her astral body, like, and it turns out every single person from my group that came back from that festival had sleep paralysis. They didn't all, I talk about, you know, the same kind of horror stories, but I burnt sage in my place the next day. My homie was like, yo, you got to like ward off. And I was like, you know, okay. My girl had some like dragon's blood sage. And dude, I like freaking doused the place in that. But have you ever had any supernatural like experiences like that? I mean.
Oh, bro. 100%. Yeah. Like, I mean, I grew up Christian and stuff too, so I didn't really. I mean, grew up Christian. I am Christian, but like I grew up Christian. Like I've been on mission trips and stuff before. Like I've seen witchcraft firsthand. I've seen demons firsthand, like voodoo practice.
Because you toured, so I mean, maybe was this in another country?
Oh yeah. Well, context. Like, so first time I ever saw it, after New Orleans flooded the first time. Our church went down because we had a partner church that was down in that area.
Yeah.
And we went down to the area and to help out. I was like, dude, I was a teenager, bro. I think like 13, 14 years old, something like that. But it was during spring break. It was either spring break or winter break. I don't remember exactly when it was, dude, forever ago. And I remember we were going to an area and this lady, she just like, it was weird because it's like, you know, when you get just like creepy vibes, from people,
your hair's raised,
yeah,
and
like
I mean,
we're
dude,
walking,
your spider sense
we're
went
trying
off,
to get like we're helping people out. We're at church, we're down there helping people out, and she's like, y'all should not be here. No, I'm serious, bro. And like our pastor was like, excuse me. She's like, you should not be like, and just went weird.
Yeah.
Like it got weird, like satanic very fast. And she pulled out like these like voodoo bones and like all kind of stuff and was trying to cast
her like cast chicken bone necklace and stuff.
Cast spells on everybody, and people just started getting in like spiritual warfare and just started praying over her. And like, dude, like 5 more entities came out
of her body, or just like around her.
No, it was like a dark area because there was no power, there was nothing. And we're trying to help people out. Like, we're clearing houses, we're gutting houses, we're trying to help people. Like, dude, we saw like dead bodies, like all kind of stuff. Like, we were there like with FEMA, pretty much, like helping out, because it was the area in the church that was established, like the neighborhood church that was like our partner church. So we were going to help redo the neighborhood. Like, we were there for like just to help out. And this lady just started like getting and then like you just see all these like beings pop up. And
shadow kind
of sort of, but like
describe them. Tall.
To me, excuse me, it's weird because it's like, because it was so dark, you just see other, it wasn't like, I would say shadowy figures.
Yeah.
But because, excuse me, I keep burping. The way that everything was set up, like our pastors, like the pastor of the church that was there, our pastor, and a few other like leadership advisors and stuff in the church, they just started praying and like putting their hands out and praying like name of Jesus. It's all kind of crazy. And you just hear these voices and these sounds that are not human.
Oh yeah,
right.
Bro.
And it was like, that was my first experience with that.
Battleground, dude.
100%.
Post-flood New Orleans.
100%.
Yo.
100%. And then another time, because I've been like, that's why like I have my guardian angels like tattooed on my back, because I've had so much stuff happen to me that like and honestly, there is no other explanation other than God.
Yeah.
Has had like, and that's why I have the depiction of a guardian angel that's all messed up on my back, because he's had me to deal with. You know what I mean?
Should
like,
we bust that out? Or?
Nah, bro, I don't really care. But like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like me, like that was that tattoo on my back is like my depiction of what the trials and tribulation that my guardian angel has had to deal with because of just me and all the stuff that I've been through. So like, that's why like, I know it's real, because like, bro, I've been told like I should not have made it through half the stuff that I've made it through and come out pretty much unscathed. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hat that has a hole in the brim right here. I had a scar right here from a round that zipped and hit the brim of my hat that was backwards underneath my helmet, bro.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of quantum immortality?
No.
It's the idea that like there are moments where we do die, right? And your soul goes up, right? And it's kind of like you're given this choice where it's like you're given the option to move on in this 3-dimensional realm, right?
Yeah.
And you can choose that, and the circumstances that killed you will change ever so slightly, so you lived.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, if you were to reflect on it now, do you think like it's possible that maybe it did land and that you chose to move on, or is it just like
nah? Because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, whatever. Everybody believes in their own, but I just always had a mind. My thing was like, God's plan for me was so good that he's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
like
dude, I vibe with that much more.
It's like getting to the point to where it's just kind of like, if you would have listened to me, you wouldn't have gotten in that accident in the first place. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, there's that whole thing like,
this is how close you're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
Look how close
you're tiptoeing the line, bro.
Yeah.
Like, stop tiptoeing the line. Like, you're not supposed to do this.
No, dude, I've had not like gunshot stuff, but just like done stupid things in my life where I've gotten close to death.
Yeah.
Like doing a wheelie on a motorcycle and then
that part.
I remember like coming like the car in front of me stopped so hard I had to slam on the rear brake and let the front wheel down, and then like I was just like, oh, I'm being a dumbass.
Yeah. I was doing 95 miles an hour and I decided to pop a wheelie.
Thank you, God, for just sparing my life.
Yes.
Like I need to course correct my actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to give you the common sense to realize that was your life mistake. And let's see if you learn from it. If you don't, the next one's going to hurt a lot worse. That type stuff. But like with me, first accident I ever been in, detrimental accident. Remember I told you last time, I was like, the first time my dad was like, in my eyes, really gave me that like, spiritual but also fatherly thing that I needed to see and hear as a man from my dad, even though I was like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
But like I was into the point where it was like got to the point of understanding things now. Mm-hmm. So when my dad told me, listen, fuck that guy. He's going to do his part. You have to do, this is up to you.
Yeah.
If you want to do this, you can do it because you can literally do anything you want. Mm-hmm. But you have to want to do it. And that's why like my thing is like, you can literally do anything you want. I bring that over into my lessons that I give my students, bro. Do you want to do this? Do you really want to do this? Okay, I'm going to give you the curriculum. I am going to lead you and guide you along the path that you want to take. The footprints along that pathway is up to you.
So, I want to go back to like the good and bad thing for just a moment. And my buddy who's like pretty into the esoteric, this guy, like my buddy Aaron, he might see this. Yo, what up, Aaron? He just left for Nepal to like study with the Buddhists at a monastery. Like this guy's tapped in, and
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
like to get engulfed in another culture. Like
you know, he told me at one point that he had reached this place, and that he like referred to as like the court of good and bad. And I think he was like astral projection, where he ended up in this place where he was in a literal court. Yeah. And he said the evil spirits were on his left and the good spirits were on his right.
Okay.
And he said like they were all like just like,
this is different.
Wait, what's up, man?
You want the same thing?
You want a fresh can?
No, that wasn't the same thing, was it?
I'll keep going, dude, if you want to grab a can.
No.
All right. So anyways, like he's in this court of good and bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Like metaphorically or like in
no, like he's astral projection. Okay. So he's like full blown consciousness there. Right. Yeah. And he's like, how did I end up here? And he said the evil spirits and good spirits were both like fighting for his influence. Mm. And he said he got to a point where he like interrupted all of them. He's like, hey guys, like I'm just moving up. Mm. And he said the good spirits like pulled back and they were just like, so be it. And like everyone shut up. Mm. Now, what makes this story weird for me is I told it to another guy that I know is like deep into like all this kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, I've been there. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, like the court of good and bad. He's like, yeah, I've literally, he's like, yeah, like the women on the right with like, you know, like the long, like their hair is made of light and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, when you meet people who have like all been to the same, like, you know, it just sounds like gobbledygook. But then you like all of a sudden like some similar stories between multiple people
that they have no connection whatsoever.
Yeah, and like I know this guy is like super knowledgeable, and basically the whole thing was like there are forces on our realm right here.
100%.
Like we're on like the battleground realm where basically it's like good and bad are both like literally trying like their best to like influence this realm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Whereas like from what I understand, like higher realms don't deal with the same. At least I wouldn't know, but like not the same level of conflict. Like this is the realm like souls come down to like really learn.
There's levels to it. So it's just like whenever to get past like when the fallen angels happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like thinking about it like that upper realm. And then when the fallen angels happen, where they come to?
Here, dude. They've been here for a long.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So this is the realm of this is why there's so much spiritual warfare down here, because it's not conquered on either side. It's always going to be the fight of good and evil.
There's 20 craters in the world. Actually, no, I think there's only 19 discovered that like in the Bible, there's something about like 20 fallen angels. Mm-hmm. And then like I saw this thing, like people were saying like there's the same number of craters.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, I don't know.
It makes sense, dude.
Just like these higher dimensional beings rip down into our like, 3 dimensions.
And I know, bro, and I hate like going through all these theories because there's not enough time in the day, because there can just be so many rabbit holes. And it's just like, dude, God, like, first of all, thank you.
Absolutely.
Second of all, where's dinosaurs? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? I want to know, like, what, because they're in my mind.
Wait, where did this come from? You're just like,
no, but I was saying,
2 things. Number 1, God, thank you. Number 2, where are the dinosaurs?
No, like, what happened to the dinosaurs, dude? Like, I don't care what you say. Every theory about the world is quadrillion years old and dinosaurs from this. I'm like, that's all a concept that was made up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, it was.
And it's just kind of like because it's just kind of like, okay, how did you prove that? How?
Have you ever seen the paintings of like people walking with brachiosauruses, like coexisting with dinosaurs?
I've seen footprints of a Christian archaeologist. He's dead. He died now, but like I was super infatuated with like dinosaurs and stuff when I was like a kid.
Same.
So I mean,
you gotta have, like if you don't have a dinosaur phase, like you
didn't grow up.
That's what children today are missing.
Yeah,
it's just they're missing their foundation.
And it's just like I looked at it, and then it was a Christian based thing, and it was just kind of like people and dinosaurs existed because there is the same depth footprint. It was almost kind of like, and there was footprints and all this other kind of stuff of people that had the same depth in the, it's like they were tracking the dinosaurs. So it was just kind of like, okay, so when the flood happened, Noah built the ark and put 2 of every clean and 7 unclean to like, you know, do sacrifices.
The problem was the dinosaurs were too big for the ship, bro.
Well, I know, but it's just kind of, something had to happen before that.
Yeah.
Because it's like in my mind, because of the way, and this is still a thing, like, and it still doesn't convince me, like if there was just this one landmass, that was this big, Pangea, right? That means the rest of the earth was covered in water.
Yeah.
So if the earth was the same size that it is today, but the land masses were all together.
Yeah.
Where'd the dinosaurs go? You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, because if they all inhabited the same area.
Bro, like the whole theory is like a big asteroid. And I'm like, to me, it's like, they're like, well, what could wipe it all out? And I don't know, man.
But see, that's
the pterodactyls made it though, right? There's been sightings of those.
I guess. You know what I mean? Because they're just airborne. Like,
and the dragons got covered up too.
The flood was like 40 days, bro. Right? I'm pretty sure it was like 40 days of just flood, and they like went on, and then they finally got the dove, threw it up, came back with an olive branch. The water receded, and that's the earth that we have now. So it's just kind of like the flood makes sense.
Yeah.
The breaking of the firmament, aka the atmosphere, from the geysers coming up from the ground.
Sure.
Like that makes sense scientifically because there's still stuff like in Yellowstone, Old Faithful, hot springs coming up from the earth and shooting up so high because the atmosphere, like there's holes in the atmosphere. So that explains that.
Bro, I don't know what caused the flood, man.
No, I know. Like I do. God caused the flood because he was just tired of, like, dude, think about it. If you just look, I mean, I don't care whatever religion stuff that it is. I know you're a Christian, but it's like, just if you just follow the biblical stuff. Every time, this was the separation between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Every time people got so bad, God sent a erratic, just obnoxious, only thing that could be is from him.
That's
to wake people up.
I feel
because that's what it took.
Dude, this is one area, like I've gone so deep with my brother on this topic, and like I just can't wrap my head around God wrathing like that. Like,
okay, but that was Old Testament.
Yeah, hold on, man.
No, I'm serious. But like, think about just look in history,
dude. I leave it as an option. Yeah. Like, I only think in probabilities.
Yeah,
that's got a sizable probability. But I also think that, like, the Anunnaki, like Enki and Enlil, I don't know if you know anything about like Sumerian tablets. I think there might have been outside influence to, you know what I mean?
But see, here's the thing: is like there's cultural differences, though. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no,
so
totally.
It's just kind of like, if
how do you like your tea?
Exactly. But like, here's the thing. But it was just like, that was just on the Israelites, though. That wasn't the rest of civilization. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other cultures out there. I mean, you can just look at that. So it was just kind of like, there was civilizations that were only mentioned once or twice in the Bible, but the Israelites were always mentioned in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, it was a story of the Israelites, God's people, God's chosen people. So it was just kind of like, well, everybody can kind of trace back to genealogy and all this other kind of stuff. Like, where did all these other races come from? Know that. So it's kind of like, but it doesn't really mention a lot of them in there. So it's just like the only time it does mention them is when they had beef with the Israelites. So it was just kind of like,
my thing is like, I generally put a high probability that there's been like alien influence over our entire civilization, whether it's interdimensional, which I'm starting to lean towards, right? You know, fallen angels, whatever, right? Yeah. But leaning more towards that versus like interplanetary.
I don't know, I think so.
I don't pin everything on God. That's my point. I'm like, I kind of wonder, I'm like, how many innocent people died in the flood? Like, would God do that? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But I'm just saying, like, that's not my initial.
But see, that's what I think. Like, if you get to the point to where you're looking at it at that, I think it's like that's where you're missing the point. To where it's like God is a God of like justice and all this other kind of stuff, but people harp on the bad stuff too much, and it's just like, dude, that's just life. Look at Darwinism at its finest. Fuck around and find out. AKA, that's still also God.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear what you're saying.
So like it's just like people's variants of like versions of that.
I know what you mean. So like any action that does happen, whether it would be alien interference or not, is through the source.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, I mean, that's where we can agree 100%. I mean,
so, but it's like, but that's what I'm saying. So I didn't even realize it until I started getting like a little bit older and kind of like putting some things together. Like so many of these different concepts, like civilizations and societies, it all has like the same concept. Just like Marvel and DC. It's the same thing. Same, but different.
Don't. Heresy.
No, but see, that's the thing. It's like
heresy. Marvel is, I don't even know, because Batman's dope.
Batman and Tony Stark, same concept.
Yeah, but Tony Stark just like dumpsters Batman, like.
But that's not because of the concept.
Yeah, no, bro. Like,
take away everything else. The concept. Rich. Parental. Techie. Same thing, bro.
Yeah. Billionaire philanthropist playboy.
Yes.
Turns tech genius, daddy issues, world saver.
Superhero.
There you go.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like, and then you have like Deadpool, Wolverine. Same concept.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying like, but it's two totally different things. And then you watch the movie and you're like, but they play on each other, but it's just like, it's a concept. It's not supposed to be the same thing, but at the root cause, it's the same thing. So it's just kind of like Thor. You know what I'm saying? When like I had all this other kind of stuff, like that.
You sound like you got some Spider-Man first editions in your basement, like in a box in the corner, dude.
Green Lantern.
Dude, Green Lantern was such a flop, though. Ryan Reynolds was like, it was a good film. I enjoyed it, but like, you know,
was that just that era was just trash.
Maybe the CG wasn't there too. Yeah.
No, the CG was definitely there. That was gangster, but it was cheesy. It's corny, but like the concept was dope.
Jumping topics. I mean, it's the day after the election, right? I feel like it's fresh out. I rarely cover news.
Yeah,
but I was like, I got to start hitting some current events. Wild. I never expected Trump to win the popular vote as well as the Electoral College. I was kind of.
I think people just woke up, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are just so. It's not like the problem was, you can't hide stupid. You can only hide it for so long. Yeah. You can only hide like your ignorance and your stupidity for so long. You know what I mean?
Well, the weird thing was they did that with like Biden slowly losing his mind for, the last 4 years. And the public has been completely gaslit on the entire thing. It's like, no, he's totally fine. And even like, I felt like Kamala she had two big opportunities that I felt like. One was like, she was asked, this is where I felt like it was my biggest flop that I saw her. She was asked, what would you have changed in the administration with Biden? And she said nothing.
Yeah. I don't think she would.
I don't know if she, I'm like, what do you mean you wouldn't have changed anything? Like the last 4 years have not been ideal.
She wasn't educated enough to answer properly, bro.
She might have, I just don't think she's an on the spot person. I mean, I
just don't think she's educated. She doesn't have, she's not witty. She's not witty. She doesn't know how to think on her feet. Like, and that to me, as a prosecutor, as the AG for probably one of the most ridiculous crime-ridden states of being California. And she started in the Bay Area, San Fran.
Yeah.
And then she was the AG. And then it's just kind of like, that to me, if you were to take her and totally take California out of it and then put it in New York, Who is that equivalent in your mind? That's from New York.
Cuomo? I don't know. Who are we?
No, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have that person literally anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
I was searching for. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there isn't.
I couldn't think of anyone.
So it's just kind of like you sit there and you look and you're like, she was groomed because they were convincing, because she was not the brightest crayon in the box.
Well, you know what upset me is that it's 2 elections in a row. First off, the people chose Bernie over Hillary.
Yeah.
I'm just talking on scale.
Yep.
I'm just trying to be literally factual with statistics, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then this go round, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, we can't have, like, Biden's not sane enough to run."
I don't think
there was no primary.
I don't think they had anything to stand on with anybody. They fucked up because Newsom publicly, with his debate with DeSantis, literally said, "I'm going to support Biden, whatever that is. I'm not going to run for president." And meanwhile, everybody else was probably like, "Wait, you're not?"
The thing with Biden was that he was so out of it that he eventually got to a place where he's like, "Oh my God, I am president. Like, I don't got to step down for anybody." Here's when I knew, like, dude, I feel like I'm always ahead of the curve on some things. I'm at work, and I within the hour I read an article. It says Biden's got COVID. I literally stopped. I put my phone down. I looked at my coworkers and I said, he's either out of the race in the next week or he's dead.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They're like, they because he got to, like, such a mental disability where he's like, I really am president,
I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't know someone's going to come out that he's going to have, like, severe dementia or something like that. Like, dude, because
they got the body double already, like, lined up.
I don't think there's anything like that. I don't think there's anything. Like, people, like, low key believe that. We're just like, dude, they're just giving him a little low key boost of adrenaline to get whatever he has left in the tank to come out to play for the time being, and then as it's wearing off, they're like, oh shit, he's wandering again.
Dude, as the president, you have to have access to, like, the best drugs and whatever synthetic components you can put in your system to just appear at least ostensibly functional to the U.S. population.
They started that with FDR.
Once he's out,
he had polio.
Biden's gonna, like, freaking, like, turn in the Schmiegel, like, without all that. If they don't keep pumping him,
I think he's gonna be dead in the next 2 years. Honestly, just physically, like, mentally decline, bro. Like, he's gonna turn into a vegetable. Like, no, I say it firsthand experience. What happened to my grandmother, dude?
Dude, my grandma.
I watched my grandmother.
She lived with us.
Deteriorate. Same.
My grandma. Yeah. Sorry,
I feel like that's why my aunt got severely depressed, because she had my grandmother live with her. Because like my mom and dad were like, nah, we got, like, because they still had kids in the house. They're like, I'm not dealing with an 85-year-old infant.
So I want to touch on a big thing for me, okay, which is around the election. My biggest issue, truly, is I'm sick of the division.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so sick of the division. And you know what? Admittedly, I didn't vote in the Biden-Trump election, but I did have this thought where I was like, if Trump, at least, like, if Trump loses, like, people can just be sane for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when this guy steps in who has Alzheimer's, I realize, I'm like, oh, you, like, picking someone just because you don't like the other person,
that's ridiculous,
just leads you down like, this guy's full-blown senile. Like, the last he left billions of dollars of equipment in Afghanistan when he just pulled us out. You know what I mean? Shit, we're not going to, these two things, we're just going to skate over it. But like, Ukraine, Russia war, cannot stand our involvement with that, and how we've handled the Middle East. It's just total disasters. And for me, like, I understand on some level, like, how people feel about Trump. I don't understand the kind of derangement around it. And so, like, what I've noticed with some people, and for me, like, I felt like Trump was the lesser of two evils. Like, I mean, he's, I just don't like how people view him, and I think that he's not like a good role model for at least half of the population because of their viewpoints. I'm not saying that's what he is. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
He's painted as like this person that it's almost kind of like you convincing yourself by like, oh yeah, I guess he is kind of an asshole, and then you look and you're like, you convince yourself every time he does some just asshole shit, you're like, I don't really like this guy.
Dude, even the right, who was kind of like shitting on Obama.
Yeah.
They still had this level of respect for him.
Yeah, because of what he did as a governor.
Dude,
and senator and all this
the way Obama carried himself, I feel like what happened with Trump was he just went too hard in the paint on Twitter. Yeah. You know, the Rosie O'Donnell, like just these sly remarks that are like witty. They're funny. I thought they were hilarious, but it's like, do we want this? Like, yeah, dude, and then, so when I have a conversation with, like, I generally don't talk politics, but if someone pulls me out of it, right, and they're like really, really hard left, you know, I go into this hypothetical with them, and I'm like, it's really like, can I talk to this person at all about anything? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, if an asteroid was coming to destroy Earth, okay, in totality, and Donald Trump put on an Iron Man suit, and he flies to the top of the atmosphere and single-handedly saves the planet. Right? This is what I asked them. I'm like, and I say, what would you think of him?
Hero.
And instantly, like, people are like, he's an asshole. And I'm like, that's the thing. Like, I can't talk to you now.
You're missing the concept,
there's nothing I can say. Like, the fact that, like, Trump had no wars.
Yeah.
Like, and like, look at every administration before him. Like, you know, Obama, conflicts in Syria, you know, Bush, Middle East, like, you know, and then you got Dick Cheney supporting Kamala, and you're like, it's like, wait, what? What's going on? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, like, my biggest position was probably war. Yeah. And my second biggest thing was the economy.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to convince my friends, like, last night. We were talking about stuff. They're like, first thing I got to ask, yo, bro, who'd you vote for? And I was like, what? Why? They're like, we got a bunch of Kamala supporters in here. And I was just like, all right, we're going to be adults here. We're not going to raise our voice. We're going to have an intellectual conversation. And if you cannot give me factual proof other than hearsay, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. Like, boys, remember, went to law school. I know that you are literally innocent until proven guilty. Kamala is innocent. I'm going to prove her guilty very quickly. Donald Trump is innocent. I want you to prove him guilty. Facts. You first. They couldn't. It was all CNN bullshit, all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, you get it. This is what I told them. I said, the problem is Kamala is part of a corrupt system. That system is a bunch of money-grubbing, corrupt motherfuckers who only care about lining their pockets.
All right, I got to just devil's advocate with you right now.
Okay.
That's exactly how people view Trump.
I know, but the problem is Trump doesn't need their money. He already has that money. So he wants to fix the system and take America and have it be a business model. If you can take it, and this is exactly what he's going to do, he's creating a business model to where every country is their own business. If you want to do business with me, the Jews do it. The Jews do it. My buddy's Jewish. I didn't even know this was a thing. And it says, no, this isn't disrespectful at all. I just did not know this was a thing. Right. And it's a lot of cultures are like this. Especially like California, I got a bunch of Chinese and Asian friends, right? And it's just like, oh, yo, I got somebody. Like, is he Chinese? Of course he's Chinese. And it's like they have their networks. So Jews do it. Jews do business with themselves. They do business with other people, but they will not do business with other people unless they're Jewish. Yeah. That's fine. No, whatever. That's great. That's why they run a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that.
They own the dry cleaner. They own this. They own that. And then they all circulate everything they need in their community. Yeah, like, bro. If you drive through, there's a part of Brooklyn that I always crack up, dude. Like, dude, I swear to God, they're up every night at 3 a.m. walking around like it's like daytime, like with their kids and their strollers. I'm like, what is going on?
So that's the thing. And it's just like, Trump is going to treat America. The problem is America has been so far off for so long. And this is just to get back to your division stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about.
It started off, so like, and this is what I explained to them, and they couldn't say a thing because I was just kind of like, all right, we're all friends, right? I was pointing to 5 of us. And I said, okay, we only care about us and our money making. We split everything equally all the time, right? And I was like, but here's the problem. We also have other close friends outside of this circle. Yes? And they're like, yeah, we want to help them out as well. And they're like, okay. And I was like, so that we're corrupt, but we're corrupt, right? So we only care about us. Fuck everybody else that's outside of us. Mm-hmm. We only care about us.
America.
No, this isn't America.
Oh, okay.
This is the wealthy corruption families that run everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So it's just kind of like Trump's not a part of this because he doesn't need to be a part of this because he already has this,
and that's why
here
the media has been,
and that's why they don't like him because he is trying to disrupt this and give this to everyone.
I get that. So
make the country good.
My big thing is like, so I'll just let it out there. I'm actually a libertarian. So I'm socially left and I'm economically right. And in my eyes, I don't think we should be voting our election necessarily on single issue social things unless it's maybe like directly affecting you, right? And so for me, I'm like, what do I want? I want no wars because I truly believe in peace. And 2, I want higher economics.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what a lot of people want at the end of the day. So it's just kind of like, okay, cool. And they're like, oh, but people go to war and this is where I'm like, dude, war only makes a select few of people money. It doesn't make
war has not benefited us at all.
It doesn't make the country
since World War II.
Yeah, it doesn't make the country money. It makes select groups within the country money.
Yeah.
AKA Northrop Grumman.
Why ostensibly, at least, growing up, I viewed the left, and I think a lot of people, like I listen to Joe Rogan talk a lot about this, like the left was the free speech, anti-war party, and now they've been so heavily pushing censorship. Like Elon think about it, Elon owns Tesla. Right, the greenest thing that's ever happened to America, hippie right? Yeah. And the Democrats literally turned on Elon. Yeah, and he's like, wait, I'm making all the electric cars and like battery storage, and like they turned on him. He realized they didn't really care about that, right? Yeah. So he comes over to the right party.
The stance has changed on so much stuff.
Yeah, like it seems like I've learned that in the past. Like I've heard like parties flip flop, and you're like, wait, they're not always for this, they're not always. You know what I mean?
This is to go back to the division, bro, because it's just kind of like and this is me. I think because after World War II, we were so well connected as a country. The people who were
9/11, dude.
No, it's way before that.
No, I'm just saying like the connected. Oh, I thought you were talking about the people coming together.
It started with but it started after World War II.
Yeah,
everybody was like, "Oh, because we got attacked."
Yeah,
this country got attacked, and you're like, "No, son, you fuck around, find out, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. We're gonna come together as a country, and we're gonna fucking rape your shit now, bro." No, I'm serious. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
and then so now we're coming back from that. America is at its highest point. What do? We need to control the narrative. How do we control that narrative? We're going to fuck some shit up, AKA introduce drugs and introduce the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. That was step 1. That was just from that I can
Gulf of Tonkin. Go that one.
Yeah, go back in history and just kind of look, okay, where did it start getting fucked up? This era. So it was just like, that's where it started. That's in my mind, historically, maybe that's where corruption first kind of started getting a little snippety. You know what I mean? And then it's like the 70s happened.
Yeah.
Then the 80s happened. And then that's when they started hitting it hard with the dividing factor in America. Yeah. Oh, racism, drugs, this kind of shit. And then it was like, okay, now we have a little bit of shit. And then you fast forward a little bit, 9/11 happened. Didn't matter what fucking race, religion, color, who cares? We got attacked again.
Dude, 9/11 was the most unity I've experienced in my life.
Exactly, because we were around for it.
Like I remember 6th grade, like just the stance, like everyone rallied. And it was like American flags. Now the American flag is racist, and it's like, dude, like it's just like ass backwards land.
That's why that's why I was kind of scared, because I was like, the way that just historically looking at it, I'm like, the way that shit's going, I was like, something's gonna happen.
So Elon, mentions this one thing. He's like, he was talking to his language model, and he said, "What's worse, World War III or misgendering Caitlyn Jenner?" And like the AI model, which has been trained by the woke mind virus, it was like misgendering Caitlyn Jenner. So I'm just like, we're literally like, what happened? Like, everything seems like such a master plan to divide us. And so like, the thing is like, I absolutely understand people coming genuinely from both sides.
Yeah.
Based on, like, everyone's trying to make the best decision with the information that they have. Everyone doesn't go down the rabbit hole to maybe understand where candidates stand on the darker sides. I don't even think
anybody really goes down a rabbit hole. I don't even think anybody even does their own due diligence.
Dude, I'm a rabbit hole guy. I'm projecting right now.
But I'm saying, like, I don't even. People. That's the problem. Is people don't. That's the disparity, bro. Is that like people aren't doing the due diligence anymore. They're not. Like, and they're just making a split-second decision based off of what they see in their hand.
I don't like this person, and I felt like there were no policies that mattered in many ways. Like, it just came down to, like, I don't like Trump.
Yeah. And it's crazy because the dividing factor, because it's like, I saw it.
Wait 1 second. Yeah. I understood that for the Biden election. I did.
Yeah.
I totally did, because I was so annoyed with the media.
Yeah.
Just constantly, like, just Trump bad media, and I got so sick of it. I'm like, I don't want him to be president. I'm sick of it. I'm not voting this time around. Whatever. Then Biden wins, and I realize again, I'm like, oh, if you literally like choose someone not based off their stance, but because you just hate the other person, like, where does that leave you?
Yeah.
And like the last 4 years have sucked. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like inflation. Yeah. All sorts of shit, like
stock market, everything, just in general that it comes to do with money.
Like, we gotta all stop playing pretend with ourselves. Like, everything's been great while the globalists literally destroy the middle class.
The problem is, bro, there's just no fucking repercussions for fucking actions anymore, because we're in such a pussified fucking state. You know what I mean? And it starts from the top, bro. You know what I mean?
Good,
like Trump's
what is it? Hard times make strong men make good times make weak men make hard times, and then that's when
it's a cycle.
Dude, we're in the here's the thing.
The weak men make hard times.
But you know what though? There's one thing I just kind of want to play devil's advocate a little bit for, like the pussification, quote unquote, right?
I'm not going to allow you to do that because it's fucking stupid.
The chemicals in the water.
I don't care.
I get that, but
no. I mean, I know, I understand what you're coming from.
I'm just saying, like, wise, like,
but it's just kind of like, bro, the reason that's being is because people they're too fucking lazy, bro. Bro, we were growing up. You got hot. What did you do? I drank tap water growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm outside in the hot. It took me a little bit to like, oh, hey, learn that you can't just turn on the hose and go drink it because it's gonna be fucking hot.
Yeah.
Because all the water that was inside the hose already is coming out first, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like,
we all been there.
Exactly. But it's like, kids aren't even going outside and doing shit. It's not just the water, bro. It's not just one thing.
Well, I mean, dude, how are you going to climb the ranks in Fortnite?
That part.
I know, man.
This.
It's cultural as well.
It's everything, because if you don't go out, and it's just, America has been so just vaginified over the past. I made that shit up. It's in the fucking Eric Webster book of fucking awesome. Over the past 15 to 20 fucking years, dude.
Yeah.
Our generation is the last good generation, respectable generation.
I get that. I mean, we were knocking on doors to hang out with friends. We're pre-internet, and like, internet went public in '95. My family didn't have a computer till I was like 12 or 13. I didn't have a phone until I was 15, 16. Yo, I miss that, man. Like, you ever look at like old pictures and videos of like people in the 80s just like outside of a concert and they're just everyone's talking. There's no one on their phone, there's no one distracted, everybody's tapped in.
You had to use this.
So it's like we're all getting like just more and more distracted with our devices, you know, masculine, like the inherent duality of masculine nature and feminine nature has been radically distorted. In particular,
only in major cities, though.
Particularly in the masculine. I mean, the masculine, which is like needed for foundation of reality.
Yeah.
You know, and if someone's listening right now and they're like, well, what about the feminine? I'm not talking about that. Of course they're needed. Love the feminine energy. Yep. We need, and that's also being kind of like, you know, like I feel like in many ways, women today are like, forget the nuclear family, work on your career, and that's all that matters.
It depends on what society you're looking at, though, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
American
society in major cities. But then, like, I'm talking about major cities as like the top 10. Miami, New York, Chicago, LA, that shit. But like, you go out west, bro, Midwest area, you know what I'm saying? Nuclear family, they don't know anything else but that. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. You know, perfect example. Love him to death. 5 years ago, look at your brother and G. Right? Gianna and Glenn, both working, all this other kind of stuff, doing their own thing. Perfect epitome of masculinity, femininity in a relationship.
Yeah.
They moved from St. Louis to Indianapolis, Midwest.
Yeah.
Right? More of a role type atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then now look at them.
Right.
3 kids. Gianna doesn't even work. Still the epitome of the nuclear family.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, but you don't see that in LA.
Right.
You don't see that where I'm at.
No, I know.
You don't see that downtown Manhattan. You don't see that in Chicago. Chicks care about being a boss. Dudes are like, oh, get money, all this other kind of stuff. When
in our timeline did the idea of being first off, I need to like preface, like, I know today's comedy, like, dude, my girlfriend
things are gonna get taken out of context regardless.
Yo, but like my girlfriend's career, Kelsey, like amazing.
Yeah.
Mad respect for her. Like, I'm not trying to say like I have any issues with that. What I'm trying to say is like I do feel like on some degree, from what I interpret, like the idea of a stay-at-home mom and like women wanting that.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to be. I want to get to a point where like I'm providing on such a level, like you're just.
You don't need to.
Yeah, like you don't. If you want to work, go ahead.
I want you to want to work, not need to work.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's where that's kind of like where me and my, not to interrupt you, that's like kind of like where me and my wife were. Like the first couple of years of our relationship, it was just me because she was getting her green card. So it was like she couldn't work.
I want them to feel comfortable with that.
Exactly. But she was like coming from owning her own business, being very successful in what she was doing. So she was just kind of like, I feel like I'm just doing nothing because I'm bored. Like, because she's so brilliant and so like very business savvy.
Yeah.
She could we could go do nothing, right? And she would find a way to make stuff better and make money because that's just how she is. You know what I mean? Which is one of the reasons why I love her. And I was just kind of like, because she's everything I'm not in that aspect. So it's just kind of like, and she helps me think that way because I'm like, I've never even been put in that. Going back to the whole training thing, if you've never been in that situation, how are you going to know how to react? Yeah. I've never been in that C-suite business acquisition mindset because I've never been in that position before. So I don't know how to think that way. She has been, therefore she has the experience to know what to do in that situation. Yeah. So it's just kind of like experience brings situational awareness before the bad stuff happens. I already kind of have experience in this area. Let's see how this goes with going off my past experiences. That's life lessons right there. So it's just like, but if you've never been in that situation, you're not gonna know what to do. So it's just kind of like with her, she told me like, and it's getting a little personal, she's probably gonna hate it, but she told me like before she met me, the relationship she was in, she never saw herself being a mother until she became in a relationship with me. And she's like, now I want to have kids. Now I feel comfortable.
That story I've heard a million times over, man. And it's, you know, I don't think it's a bad thing sharing that story at all. Cause like, it just goes to show like she had that respect for you.
Yeah.
And like your ability to protect her and provide for her.
That's that thing. And that's where like people get that masculinity and femininity thing mixed up.
Yeah.
It's just like you can be a boss chick all you want until you come across somebody who makes you feel like it was intended for you to feel. You can still be a boss and still be submissive to your
and like
you know what
that's
I mean?
the thing is like the divine feminine energy from my perspective, like you just need to be like comfortable like taking and receiving. And it's like I feel like at least I can speak to like with certainty like my masculine energy, like my favorite thing to do is to provide. Like I've had people over at the lake house just like and like I'm like making food, I'm like taking and like just being like, yo, like I'm running the show and
caretaker.
I'm providing this experience for you, and it's such a high. Like I feel like within your like masculine energy, like to just give.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I saw, like I'm that way when it comes to like taking care of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, but at the same time, like like somebody always told me this is like a king can't rule his kingdom without his queen, vice versa.
Yeah,
you're not as strong as you are, which is 100% true. So it's like even though you have two different roles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, say the queen's the admin of the kingdom, but the king is the fucking head motherfucker in charge of, like, shit goes down. Who do you turn to? You don't look to the queen. You look to the queen for advice. You look to the king to get shit done. You know what I mean? Like, so two differences in, like, men and women. Men need to feel loved.
Yeah.
Women need to feel wanted. You know what I mean? Like, women need to have, like, a purpose.
Bro, like, I need above... For me... Yeah, I need to feel loved, but more, I actually put respect above that.
100%. That's why they made that book, Love and Respect, was so good.
I need respect before love.
It's to us, it's the same, in my opinion. If you don't respect me, you don't love me.
Yeah.
All day long.
But have you ever been loved and not respected? I mean you could tell me that you know, you could tell me that doesn't exist, but I'm just
No, I mean, I think it can exist because I just think it like you can be loved, but like in my opinion, like you can love me, but you might not know me enough to like really deeply, like you can love me based off your decision.
It's only happened to me once. I was in a relationship a long while back that kind of red pilled me where, you know, I was kind of with someone like maybe like tip of the spear on like feminist movement. And like, I couldn't be in my masculine energy. Everything, it was just like the respect wasn't there. And I'm like, I mean, just the general like zeitgeist. It's like I feel like we're kind of. I think there's misdirection for young men today on just like entering that space and being like, no, it's okay to be masculine. Like the media, the news, all these terms.
I feel like that just comes with like how you grew up too, bro. You know what I mean? Did you grow up, you know, being led by a good example? That can be many different things. You can be led by a good example. Like my dad, I can look back and say other things like my dad did a pretty good example of what to do and what not to do at the same time. That's still leading by example. Like in my opinion, I learned from my dad that having a crap ton of kids sucks the life out of you. Yeah. And I don't want to do that. I want to have maybe one or two and then be done. I don't want to have fucking 7 kids.
Is that how many siblings you have?
I'm one of 6, bro. So it's just kind of like, like think about that. What? That is
I can't.
That is crazy.
I have one sibling.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, but like, and you're like, so my mom worked in a very lucrative job before she had me. Even when she had me, me and my younger sister, one of my younger sisters, but we had a nanny growing up.
Ooh.
My mom still had a job, and so did my dad.
Yeah.
But then number 3 came, and it's like, ugh. Now I can't go back to work because now I have.
How did that affect your mother? Like,
I really don't know. I can't. I you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never really asked my mom that. But then that's when my mom took on that role of, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like now I have kids that I have to take care of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, there was a point in time to where like my mom was still popping out kids and homeschooling some of us, bro. Because she didn't. Exactly, bro. Like you look and stuff, and it's just kind of like women nowadays couldn't. There's a select few of women that have that kind of patience and skill set. But my mom was educated enough to do that and handle it with help. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it seems a bit generational. I mean, My dad is one of 3.
Yeah.
My mom is one of 6.
Yeah, my mom's the youngest of 10, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you see.
Wait, hold on. Your mom was one of
youngest of 10.
Dude, and what is that? It's like, and so I've heard like with first world like populate, like where societies are headed, we're having less and less children. Like Tokyo is like tip of the spear, but then you go to like Africa, right? And they're like less developed, you know, and they're having like way more children.
They just, you know, fucking like they're just doing what God intended you to do.
Yeah.
Be fruitful and multiply, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but people don't care about that no more because they care about themselves too much. That's where this whole whole boss complex comes from. And it's like, so you're just being selfish. Yeah. You're selfish. You're not even doing what God has intended you to do. Like,
now we're getting deep.
You can be fruitful and multiply and still have a job.
Yeah.
I watch so many people do it.
Bro, like I want to have children like so badly. And like, I, you know, that's in store for me and like, you know, my plan. But like, yeah, I do. I talk to people who like there was that term dinks. You ever hear the term dinks? DINKS. It was dual income, no kids.
Yeah.
And these like
me and my wife.
You know, but like I'm saying like people were like kind of like celebrating it.
Yeah.
Where it was like we're never having kids. Yeah. And I'm like,
I mean, there's nothing, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but that, like, do you feel fulfilled? Because, like, like, now that just tells me, like, you're just really selfish. You just want to do what you want to do. Now, nothing is wrong with that. Self-care is a real thing. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, I don't think you're a real, true, in touch with yourself if you really don't want to have kids. If you really don't want to have kids, I don't think you're being true to yourself. Because genetically,
yes, dude,
you're designed to
I have to touch on this. So there's a analogy, not an analogy. Like I've told a lot of people the same thing for a really long time.
Yeah.
Probably been saying this for at least a decade. I say, if I could have $1 billion given to me right now, but I can't have kids, I wouldn't take it. And like, I feel like
I would.
But you can't have no adoption, no nothing. Like you just.
Oh yeah, then never mind.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, I don't know, because $1 billion can do a lot of things for a lot of people, and like me, I like helping.
All right,
people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I get that, man. But would you really? You got $1 billion now, right? First thing you doing, like, don't bullshit me. You balling out with at least $2 million of that, bro. Don't even.
I don't give a fuck what you say, bro. Like that's not me.
You wouldn't get a nice car. You wouldn't get a mansion.
I mean, I have that already.
Okay.
I don't got a mansion, but like I got my dream truck, bro. One of them, anyway.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? I got TRD.
You got a Cybertruck.
Nah, it's not a dream truck. I don't want that. That's not me. I don't. I think it looks like I built that in my backyard with fucking, you know, like aluminum.
Roblox.
Yeah. Yeah. I built a submarine when I was in like middle school to like put in my pool to see if it would like if I could like survive in it. Yeah. And I built it out of plywood and caulking, and I stuck it in my above ground pool.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. It looked just like a Cybertruck.
Where are we going with this?
No, but I was saying like it looked, side note. But anyway, like I told like me and my wife talk about it all the time. She's like, oh my God, look at the luck of the lotto right now. And my wife's the same way I am, bro. Like she's just a very giving person. Like I am. Like if I within reason, like I'm the guy that's just kind of like, yo, if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. If I got $1 billion, if someone gave me $1 billion
after taxes,
I don't give a fuck if it was with taxes, tax free. Yeah, so I would literally, first thing that I would do is I would give my parents like $10 million.
Yeah,
that's the first thing that I would do.
Okay.
Second thing I would do, I would tithe to my church. I would give each of my siblings $1 million.
Yeah.
I would be as anonymity as possible with my money. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I was really good at with my job was like with my clients and stuff that I had that were billionaires and ultra high net worth people was just like, yo, listen, you got me for a reason, right? Let's kind of not draw attention to ourselves and see what that does. Mm-hmm. If we can just listen to me for 5 minutes and if it works, let's come up with a game plan. But if not, and something does happen, then we can do it your way, and I'll just deal with the repercussions afterwards. But allow me to just listen to me real quick, and let's just kind of do this my way. And if it works,
my way or the highway.
No, but I'm saying, but like that's the thing. It's like if you're allowed. I hated that song.
Yeah. Okay.
But like you know what I'm saying. So it's the same thing. Like I'm gonna give all my closest friends.
Yeah.
Allow them to live your dream, bro. Here's 10 mil. Don't ask me for any more money. I don't care if we've never talked to each other again. I'm getting gratification knowing that you're going to possibly have a very high chance of thriving for the rest of your life, not because of me, but because of your own ambition, and now you have the opportunity. I'm not going, oh yeah, I did that for you. I hate people that do that shit.
All right, bro. You got $1 billion. How much? And I come to you, I'm like, yo, give me a couple thousand, dude.
Yeah, I'll give you a grip, bro. I will be like, yo, here's a couple mil. Do whatever you want. Have fun. And that's all. It's like, but here's the thing. If you never talk to me again, I'm going to always remember that. I'm not going to be like, I remember I gave you $10 million and you never talked to me again. I can be like, oh, I can't believe you didn't do that. I'll be like, damn, I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought you would at least be like, I want to include you. I'm like, tell me everything that you're doing with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, I like being involved in the success of my friends. And watching, like me and my best friend were just talking about last night. He's like, bro, look at us, bro. Look at where we came from and look at us now. And it's just kind of like, pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
25 years later, we're like, we're doing what we knew we were capable of doing. And then we actually look at where we are and we're like, bro, you got your own business. I got my own business. We're pretty successful. But we're not at our caps yet. And we're not even 40.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, I know I got a lot of growing to do, but I'm excited about it because it's like I like learning
bro,
shit.
Like, all right, so like I appreciate the generosity for the money you give me. Just, throw me a little bone. But now you're 80 and you feel like you ain't got no legacy, man.
Oh, bro, my money is my legacy that I gave everybody else.
Okay, all right, I get
you know what I'm saying?
Because $1 billion is a lot. Like this ain't like no kids are $1 million.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just like, I don't care if I don't have kids. I'm still affecting people for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So that is my legacy. It doesn't have to be with my DNA.
Yeah.
It is through my brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, who are doing it to their kids. Like, if I don't have kids, bro, like, I don't care. I'm still going to leave my mark on history with my family.
Yeah.
And my friends who I've influenced them and gave them wisdom and helped them along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to remember me in their lifetime. Maybe their kids might not. I don't give a shit about that. I'm dead. I'm in the ground, bro. Like, I'm sitting on high. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even a part of this world no more. So that doesn't affect me. Like, I've learned by going through so much just trauma and dramatic things in my life that, like, nothing really matters except for, like, the happiness that you find within yourself. And whatever makes you happy makes you happy.
Yeah, I've been, like, really... Happiness is cool, but I feel like for me, I've been, like, leaning a lot towards, like, fulfillment over happiness. And
that's 100%.
And, like, kind of trying to be like, all right, like, I feel like happiness sometimes is, like, more in the moment, and, like, fulfillment is, like, long term.
Yeah.
And I know you feel, that's kind of like,
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
being fulfilled is everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like, to me, seeing someone, helping someone out, changing their perspective on life.
Yeah.
That to me is fulfillment.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, if I can go to work and change the way someone thinks about something for the better, I feel fulfilled.
Oh, that's the best, dude. Like, yeah, like I was at a nuclear medicine conference last weekend, and I got introduced to a lot of students.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally sat them down, like, because like the teacher brought me over. She's like, "Oh, what can you tell them about the product?" And I was like, "Yeah, like our product's the best. It is, like miles,
literally, yeah,
yeah, like scientifically, like." Anyways, but I'm like, all right, let's really give them some real knowledge. And I was like, listen, like, you guys are in nuclear medicine school to be a technologist, but I want you to understand now that your career can expand into many different options, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you, like, as a tech, it's a trade job.
Yeah.
And you can always fall back on that trade job. But you know what? You can move into management.
Yeah.
You can move into sales.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at you like, what? I'm like, listen, like, in the corporate world, we want people that are experts, right? So you're going to be like an expert nuclear technologist, like, and these companies want to hire you to and to sell their product because you understand how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, there are all these different, like, I just was trying to tell them, I'm like, listen,
you can take it to literally anything you want with it.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, and that's what I did with my career.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like, you know, I feel like you can always give advice best to like what you've experienced.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I was a tech. Then I jumped into an application specialist. So I was teaching the product. And they said, oh, all right, you know, now you're going to be like a national clinical imaging specialist where you're like not full-blown sales. I mean, you're technically sales, but you're also like demonstrating the clinical side. So now you're the in-between, and then now you're selling MRIs, and then now you're selling nuke med stuff. And then I jumped genres. I went from like I was only MRI.
Yeah.
MRI everything, my entire resume.
Yeah.
And then boom, nuclear medicine. And it doesn't operate even like it's capital sales.
Yeah.
Capital equipment sales. And so like I'm trying to convey it to them. And I swear to you, dude, like these students look at me like it was just this life altering moment.
Epiphany.
No, dude, I'm not joking. Like
I'm serious.
There were 5 young adults that I'm like, I just changed their life. They went into it like, well, yeah, I want to be a nuclear medicine tech, and like,
but they don't know the opportunities that they have at TAN, bro.
And I'm like, you can look past that. It's okay to do that for 5 years, but if there's like a larger goal, like you don't have to be just that.
And see, that was another reason, like, why I kind of wanted to be a recruiter in the military, because that's what a recruiter does. Like, you're supposed to be a subject matter expert as the military as a whole. But the problem was, like, that's how I got the job that I got in the military.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a specialty within my role until I found someone who had that job that put me on game. And I was like,
on game for real.
Wait, what? You can do that? They're like, yeah. And I was like, why don't they advertise that?
That one
They're
dude
like,
changed your whole life, right?
Yeah.
And it's these little moments, like just a small little conversation. Someone just walks into your life. Like, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. Like, there's been things that just kind of come up at the right moments in my life.
Yep. It's God's plan, bro.
And yeah, bro, like if I can be like part of God's plan for other people, just being like, yo, you have more opportunities than you might be limiting your mind right now. I'm
exactly.
Not saying, you know,
that's the thing, bro. Like, and that's the problem. And that just comes down to like, just leading by example.
Yeah.
Like the epitome of that, the epitome of being a father is you are supposed to be to your son everything plus what you were not. You plus some. You're teaching them how to be a better version of you.
Yeah.
So they can become, so that's what you're supposed to do in society. So society continues to grow and get better, not fucking go down the hole that everybody is going down now. And it's just like, man. Dude, I just thought it was funny because it's like, dude, think about it.
It's the programming, dude.
A long time ago, who are you looking at to go to war? Are you going to look at the fucking #1 stud to lead you into battle? Or are you going to look at fucking Goggles over here who's allergic to fucking peanuts and lactose intolerant? No. I'm looking at him because this guy, if we go to war, he's not going to survive. So, dude, 50 years ago, there was no allergies. There was none of this shit. There was no toxic masculinity. There was none of this stuff. There was A and B. They created the rest of the alphabet over the past 50 years, and that's where society started to decline, bro. People aren't dying off like they used to. To have this, I know it sounds dumb, master race. There was no master race. There was just everybody used to be the same, bro. Yeah. Everybody used to have their roles in society, but everybody was the same.
But they were also lacking the seed oils. They were also
No, I know that. I know where everything comes from.
The
but
radiopharmaceuticals.
In general, you know what I mean? In general, there was still the tiers of quality of people back then. But it was like they still weed them out. Bro, they used to fucking, like, if you got a deformed baby, you should just throw it off to the side, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that anymore. Not saying that it's wrong. Whatever. I'm not putting any judgment on any of that stuff. But I'm saying that's what we used to do. The Chinese have been doing stuff for years, and it was like, oh, that's bad. But it's just kind of like, Well, if they want their people to stay around, why would they keep bringing in sickly people to breed with healthy people to cause more sickly people? That doesn't make sense in the end game. So it's just kind of like, if you look at it, that's just society.
Right.
That's just society. War is war. War is shitty. Society is shitty. But we're allowing things to be more progressive, and by allowing stupid stuff that never flew 20 years ago.
My pronouns, everything.
Yes, bro. And it's just kind of like, you know what's funny? I saw like the coolest argument to that. It's like,
by the way, dude, if you misgendered me on my own channel,
listen, Jack,
I will torch you, dude.
So it's funny because it's like, that's cool that you want
canceled,
that you want me to call you that, but that's just your opinion on what you feel like. It's not facts. So you can say that all you want. You have that right because we're in America, right? But I also have the right to just go like, no. And then what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Nothing but yell and scream in my face. And then when you get yell and scream in my face, and then you take it too far because you're an immature child. And then when we get physical, and then I bestow violence upon you. And
then they're the victim, even though they throw the first punch.
Yeah, exactly. They spit in my face, but then when I, break their nose or, smack them in the face.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the playbook. You got to play victim, like after you.
But see, that's the thing. Like, people are allowing the victimization to happen. What if we just stop the whole victimization thing,
dude?
Where would we be as society?
So, dude, I've been telling people for such a long time, dude. Like, I mean, I had to deal with all the bullying I took like as a kid and things like that, and just like family conflicts, whatever. Like, my family's amazing today.
Yeah.
But like internalize it. And in my 20s, I felt like that's like, it was my young 20s I processed it, like, which I mean might be kind of late in your opinion, but like that's
when you were old enough to kind of like get the actual like, you understand the reason for everything.
And when you like, for me is like when I realized like what my grandfather, like what my father's father was like in support for, or the lack of support in some arenas. Like my grandfather's great now, and I think everyone's moved on. But like, my dad, like his dad never went to a single wrestling event.
Same.
My dad was like a collegiate wrestler. His dad, and then me growing up, my dad like went to every single wrestling event I ever went to, like just working like, and it's like, all right, he like I would
but then to side note that, to play devil's advocate, you look at that and you're getting your dad's perspective from things. Meanwhile, what your dad didn't know is that maybe your grandpa was out there working fucking 2 jobs because in the 70s when your dad was growing up, a lot of shit was going on.
Yeah.
And he might have been working at some fucking factory trying to make ends meet for his fucking family, and didn't have the time to do all this. But he didn't voice that. So he just held it all in, was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to provide for my family. Fuck my son. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose, but that growing up. So that was like kind of like the same thing for me. Like, I didn't realize that. So like my dad and my grandpa didn't have the greatest relationship either. But that was because my dad was kind of a fucking cocksucker growing up. And my grandpa wanted a little bit of, structure for my dad, because my dad was a wild child. So it was just kind of like, and my dad would tell me like, dude, my dad was in a biker gang. My dad was shot at, all kind of crazy shit growing up. So it was just kind of like, but my grandfather was a Marine. You know what I mean? So he wanted to join the Marine. My dad's like, I'm not going to be a Marine in spite of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go join the fucking Navy on the tail end of the Vietnam War. And my grandpa was just like, if you do that, I'm going to like disown you type thing. Like, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And my dad's just like, fuck you, bro. And like went and joined the Navy and like during the Vietnam War. And it was just kind of like, so that was that aspect. And he told me like, so like that fucked up the relationship for a really long time. And then he left. So my dad really didn't know how to my dad was like 19. My dad didn't know shit about anything.
Yeah.
So he just knew like that stupidity. And then like my grandpa, being my grandpa, doing what he was like, whatever, you're going to fucking learn one way or the other. So like just kind of cut him off for a little while. And then my dad met my mom, or met his first wife. and then they had their family and all this other kind of stuff, and then my dad met my mom, and then like we came out and all this other kind of stuff, and then like just knowing what I know now about my dad and my grandpa's relationship, like it was just kind of like, okay, cool, this is kind of crappy because
you get the perspective.
But it was just kind of like, and my dad was just kind of like, I don't want to have that relationship with you, but we ended up having that relationship in my mind because my dad was never around for me because he was too busy providing for our family because we had 6 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I'm like, why isn't my dad coming to my basketball games? Why isn't my dad coming to my football games? All this other kind of stuff because he's out working to provide for you.
Yeah. So I feel like everyone goes, like guys go on like this hero's journey.
Yeah.
Where they get to a point where they de-victimize their any childhood or conflicts that they've over-exaggerated. And then eventually you get to the place where you have the perspective of understanding the hand your parents were dealt and then how they're doing the best to provide for you.
Yeah.
And that all the shortcomings that they have are, part one, mostly like I would say a product of their reality.
Yeah.
Right. And what the hands that they've been dealt. And like for me, I probably was like 25, probably 27 till I had that perspective. Like de-victimization, probably like low 20s.
Yeah.
Low 20s. And then like, probably late 20s, like fully understanding. I'm like, oh man, my dad and mom crushed it.
Exactly.
Just absolutely.
So like you
it.
don't realize it until like me now. Like I started to realize it, and that was part of the reason why I wasn't in a rush to have kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of my only friends in my group of friends. I have like there's 3 of us that do not have kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like your brother's a perfect example. We used to hang out all the time. Dude, when I was in the Navy,
yeah.
And he'd be like, hey bro, me and John are gonna go on vacation, and I'd be like, oh, I just got back from deployment. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll go with you somewhere for like a long weekend or whatever. Like he used to just call me, drop of a hat. And I used to go because I didn't have any responsibilities. And he's like, yeah, so we're going to go to Japan and you trying to come and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm just like, oh yeah, dude, I'm down. Next thing you know, I'm going to Sudan. So I was like, that didn't happen. Next thing you know, he's like, yeah, we want to get all the traveling done out of the way because we're going to start having kids and that's not going to happen anymore. And I was like, that's cool. Like awesome for you, bro. And next thing you know, they had Vienna.
Yeah.
Right. And so they kind of like have help from like your parents and Gianna's parents and all this other kind of stuff. So they start traveling again and all this other kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, oh dang, Riker.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, cool. Now we can't really travel as much. Oh, well, we got to wait. We're going to go to Jordan. And you just like be around Gianna's family and go do that because they got kids and stuff too. So it's just kind of like, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, now we're getting old enough to do this. Next thing you know, boom. 3rd one comes out.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, now we really can't do anything because now we have to wait another 6 months until this one gets old enough to kind of, I can give it to my mom and all this other kind of stuff. So I was like, I see that. And it's like, I don't want my freedoms to be dependent on my kids. But it's like, I have that kind of same thing now because I have 3 dogs. And it's like, if me and my wife want to go somewhere for a weekend, we can't just get up and leave because we got to have someone to take care of the dogs.
It's just like, I think it's just a big shift in like
100%.
And like
responsibility all day long.
I feel like on the flip side, he's like, yeah, dude, but like I have this whole new reality of like just children that I adore.
Yeah. Well, that's different. But I'm just saying like, it's like, if you want to have this stuff, but that's where people get caught up is they become selfish. It's like, I don't want to give up traveling. I love traveling so much, but like, I don't want to have kids.
Yeah. And I think that, and I don't want to stress this too much because I understand like the luxuries we have today, but I think the idea of I think genetically you can't wait too long, and you can't and safety reasons, you know what I mean. And I
don't know about all that. I mean, I feel like to just fit in. I know a lot of guys
I'm talking about women. Women. Once let's use a bigger number. 40.
Honestly, because I can say that because it's like, but I feel like for your first kid anyway, not multiple, because my mom had my baby sister when she was 42.
Yeah.
So it was just like, but that was also her 6th kid. Okay. So it's just kind of like, you know what I mean? She just sneezed and my sister came out. But like, I also know people that had first kids at the age of 40.
I heard it can be a scary thing.
Yeah, but one, the kid had a lot of problems because wasn't getting the nutrition that it could have had because the mom wasn't the healthiest either.
Right, with the,
also being 40, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like 40-year-old, you're not the most optimum health in today's society compared to someone in their 20s, even 30s. You know what I mean? Like your body just starts breaking down. Like you're at your halfway point, bro. You know what I mean? And 40 now, it's sad to say, but 40 is actually before 40. I think like the average lifespan now is like 73, 74, something like that. So it's like, wow, cool. 37 years old is my peak. And then it's supposed to be a decline after that. It's like, dude, that's me now. What? I feel great. I mean, I don't feel great.
Yeah, dude. Like I feel pretty young too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I'm not worried about it. But then I look at it and I was like, wow, okay, cool. Say me and my wife do have a kid in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm going to be teaching them how to do whatever sport they want to. I'm going to be in my 50s.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to move. Mentally, I'll be cool, like to bestow wisdom upon them with all the life experience and stuff that I have. But like, I'm not going to be out there doing drills with them for football or soccer or teaching them how to dunk on somebody because I can't even physically do the thing anymore. It's just like, I want to be a part of, I want to do what my dad did not do with me. My dad tried his hardest.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, coolest thing my dad ever did, like, I didn't play basketball until I got to high school.
Yeah.
Never. I didn't play basketball until I got to high school. My dad made me a half court. Bless his heart, he used NBA dimensions instead of like high school regulation.
Okay.
So like it ended up being more beneficial for me.
Because you were supposed to be
so it was just kind of like
superstar,
bro.
Bro.
But like he poured a half court slab. He built that for me.
Yeah.
And then like he got me connected through one of the coaches at his gym for my AAU stuff, which turned me into the defensive monster that I became in basketball because a coach, he allowed to see one thing in me that I brought from hockey and soccer and stuff like that, was just like my footwork and my defensive ability. He goes, okay, now we're going to implement that. And he's the one that kind of made it up to me. He goes, all right, I'm going to be here early and I'll stay late if you are. Yeah. And that's all I needed, bro. So it's just kind of like, I want to be that to a kid, preferably my own.
And more.
And more. I want to be able to do, because my dad couldn't do it. So he's like, I need to find someone who can. But I want to be the one that is doing it for my kid.
Yeah.
Because I feel like no one's going to be able to do it better than me. Because I want him to feel like what I did when my dad told me, look, you can do anything you want. I've seen you pick up stuff from scratch and just be really good at it really quick because you want to do it. You have the ability to do. I want to be able to sit down and have that conversation with my son or daughter, preferably son. Thank you, Jesus. But like, you know what I mean? But like, have that, because that is what is supposed to happen. That's supposed to be something that comes from a dad, not a mom. When it comes from a mom, that's because dad's not in the picture. I don't care what you say about anything. No, that is a fatherly role.
Yeah.
That is what you're supposed to do to your kid. That's coming from Pops, because Pops is number one in everybody's book. If you don't have Pops, what does that role fall to? Mom. So now mom has to say it. Yeah, it still means the same because that's the only thing that you got meaning from. But if it comes from Pops instead of mom, means way different. You know what I mean? I'm saying that because I had both. Not everybody has both. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, but you don't realize the benefit of something coming from.
I go to my parents for totally different things.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like in your instance, that what you just explained, like I go to my father for a lot of career stuff.
Yeah.
And
easy,
for like
100%.
Inspiration on like my abilities.
Yeah.
And like I go to my mom for like connection.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah.
That's cool though. I mean, I don't go to my parents for really anything. But, I mean, I go for my dad to like advice on like doing stuff like, oh, Pops, I need to, replace my shower arm in my like thing or whatever. Like because my dad's really good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like my dad has a sick construction company, so it's just like I'll ask him for that. But I'm not gonna go to my dad, hey dad, when you're 35, you were married with all of us. Like, what were you going? Like, I don't have those conversations with my dad, bro.
Yeah.
Because I already know what he's going to say, because I remember. I kind of put myself in his position. and been like, that's when I had to like, that's when I gained, that's kind of like when I gained like a lot of respect for my dad, when I realized what he did for our family.
Yeah.
Like when I had that epiphany from that, I was like, fuck, Dad, you ruined your life when you had all of us, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, him and my mom, and even they joke around and say, be like, oh, if we wouldn't have had you, we'd be millionaires right now, traveling the world. Be like, well, duh. You know what I mean? You spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on us every year when you could have been like putting that in the bank. You know, like my dad lost so much money when the markets crashed in his business, bro. Twice. So it's just kind of like, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, we're like, oh, my crypto's failing. Like, you know, like we don't even have any responsibility to take care of. And it's just kind of like, this guy has like, you know, a house full of kids to worry about. Like now, you know, I've never had that kind of responsibility before.
Yeah. So
it's just kind of like so now I'm just kind of like, dude, my dad was a fucking gangster, bro. Still is.
Yeah.
So is my mom. So it's just kind of like if I have kids, 100%, I'll be like, if I don't know what to do, I'm not going to ask my friends to have kids because they're stupid. Like I'm going to call my parents. Because my parents, I turned out okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're at an hour 52.
We talked for that long.
Yeah, hour 52. Yeah, parents are great.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely great to get out of victim mindset. But Eric, you've been great, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, dude.
It's been fun, bro. Always is.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, Wave Function Podcast. Remember, you can do anything you want. You just got to work at it. And when the curveballs come, that's just God like saying, do you really want it? And if you really want it, you got to keep going.
I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. And it's just kind of like, I feel like if you can just get to the point of just going, this is what I did. It's a side note. I will stop after this. But like, okay. I get to the point to where it's like, I still pray. And I go, God, you got to slap me in the face. If this is you, I have to know it's you. It can't be like, oh, that could have been God. No, I need listen, you stupid motherfucker. It's me. Listen, like that part.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much stuff out there that could be that I'm like, oh, that's a good opportunity. That could be God. That's a good opportunity. That could be God. But then it's just like, that's the best opportunity. This is me. Let's go, Jack. All right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, great. Awesome notes to end on, man. All right, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Later, fam. Thank you for watching.
Bye.